So welcome to the world of manifestation that's simple, easy, and fun unless you get too much into your thinking mind. And if you do, don't worry. This video has an amazing technique to help you gain clarity. You hear a lot of different concepts thrown around in the manifestation world. Act as if, ignore 3D reality. Are you looking at reality? Are you looking as reality? So many different things out there that it sounds a little bit odd and different than what you might be used to, but in actuality, it's something that you do naturally. You just never have been brought to the point of focus to understand the difference. So in this video today, lucky you, we are going to break down the difference between looking at reality and looking as reality. And really, it's simply the difference between third-person perspective and first-person perspective. So what I'm going to do in this video is give a little bit of a brief explanation of each perspective. I'm going to walk you through a technique that I take my clients and students through so that once you do this, you'll understand the difference between the two and how you're engaging with the reality that you're in. And then we're going to sum it up all at the end. So welcome back if you're already subscribed, and if you're brand new, welcome to the channel. My name is Dede Powerniak, and I am the Invincible CEO, and I am the last most exciting manifestation coach that you will ever need, because what we do here is we enjoy the fun woo-woo of manifestation, but we give you practical steps and we give you great analogies of things that you already have done or have experienced or understand so that you can understand the manifestation world, because you can't get it wrong, but it can take real long. And we don't want that to happen anymore. We want short, sweet, concise, quick manifestations and getting you exactly what it is that you're asking for. In addition, there's really a big hidden agenda that I have as to why I do what I do. And this is what it is. I want to see you win. I want to see you win big, and I want to see you win all the time. Why can't you get everything that you've ever asked for? And now I help you realize, because it's only you against you. And once you realize that there's the conscious mind you and the subconscious mind you, and they speak very differently, but it's a matter of bringing them together in unity. And once you do that, things really start to move. In winning big, what is your heart's desires? What is it that you really want? And let me help you get there. Okay, so now what we're going to do here, manifestation is really easy and fun. And it's about breaking down real simple and easy perspectives of understanding what's exactly talked about. So you may have heard other teachers, and especially Neville Goddard, talking about, are you looking at reality, which is a third-person perspective, or are you looking as reality, which is a first-person perspective? And I will tell you this, if you're in the now moment, you're in the first-person perspective. No thought is needed. What is happening is happening. I don't have to say to you, oh, by the way, I'm speaking words and I'm recording a video, because it's already happening. It's already a given. It's a you understood. So when you're in first person, if it's raining out, you don't have to turn to someone and say, it's raining out, or say in your own mind that it's raining out, because it's pretty obvious. It's like Captain Obvious. It's very obvious of what's going on. No thought is needed. You're the observer, and you're observing simply what's happening, and what's happening is the story in and of itself. It doesn't need a story written over it. Third person perspective is when you're in the past or you're in the future. And that's where thought is needed, to be in the past or the future, because if you're not in the past or future, you're in the now. And even if you bring a past memory and you're thinking about a past memory, you're sort of in a hybrid state of you're here and now, but you're really in the memory. So you're making that memory the now. And that's how we bend reality. That's a wonderful thing. Same thing with the future. You can go into a future occurrence and imagine what it's going to be, but all that's ever happening is what's here and now. And I'm going to say to you in the Invincible CEO that we have decided here that everything's imagination. The real you isn't the physical you and isn't the physical reality. It's what you could conjure up right now in your imagination. So if you want to fly through the air, the real you is flying through the air. And I know it's hard sometimes for that conscious mind that's so used to, I need to see it, taste it, touch it, hear it, smell it right here, right now, for it to be real. So we're really going to break down this perspective today, and I'm actually going to walk you through an exercise that once you get this, you get this. Okay, so the whole idea would be to be in the observing now moment and allowing what's to be. And then you can decide if you like what's happening, you can continue on with it, or you can revise it to be what it is that you want it to be the next time you engage with it. When we go too much deep into thought, right, of what's happening now, and it could just be, I'm bored, this is boring, I don't want to just sit here and wait for light to happen, then you can start to conjure up what you want to do. But when you're in it, there's a big difference between riding a roller coaster and then talking about the ride that you had on the roller coaster after. Riding the roller coaster is first person. It doesn't need a story. You're experiencing it in the now. You're very present in the now. And then when you get off the roller coaster, if you were to share your experience with someone, you're now looking back at the past and you're sharing the third person perspective. And this is really important because the you that's making a decision or experience in the now moment, when you come from a standpoint of I'm doing the best I can from where I am. And an hour later, if you look back on third person perspective of the version of you that was there in first person, because that version that's now looking back at it wasn't there at that time. Does that make sense? Let me say it again. When you're experiencing a roller coaster, you're in first person. And then just imagine an hour later, the version of you that's on the ground is going, I could have done that experience better. I could have held on less. I could have screamed louder, right? So you see the difference now between that first person and third person, where when you're ever critiquing something you've done in the past, you're not the version of you that did it. You have a lot more experience and awareness than while you were in it. So if we give our first person version all the breaks in the world, that he or she is doing the best that she can from where they are, then that really starts to ease the flow for your manifestation stream. And when you're in the experience, the more present you are with the experience, there's less doubt that can come after the fact. That's so powerful. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to share a technique that I've created that I do with my clients, with my students, and in my one-day events. So if you don't have a pen and paper, take a moment, pause the video, and grab a pen and paper, because you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up a picture, and we're going to start here by looking at reality. Reality is when you're looking at reality, you are looking from a third person perspective. You're a little bit removed. There's no real action going on. It's very, very surface level. And get ready. So here's the card. I'm going to take this off the screen for a second. Here's the card. This is in the Invincible CEO Energetic Level Up deck. Card, obviously, number 33. So what I want you to do right now, when you look at this card, what do you see? And so what do I see? And write that down. Take a few moments to do that. Pause the video. Okay, after what do you see, what do you hear? Do you hear anything? Does it invoke any kind of noise that you think would be there? Okay, now, after that, what do you feel? Does it cause a sensation in your body? Maybe this looks like someplace that you once were, or maybe you've been in a hot air balloon before. Does it conjure any sensation or feel? Do you get tingles? Do you get chills? Does it cause a little bit of a pain in your belly? What sensations, if any, do you feel? Does it bring up any smells? Because what you can tell that we're doing here is we're going through the five senses, but we're going it from a third person perspective because we're not there. We're just looking at the picture, right? And after what smells, is there any taste? And is there anything that just intuitively comes to you, right? Any thoughts, any inspiration that comes when you look at this picture? Okay. And now you can look at the number. Maybe the number 33 has meaning to you. Maybe you've just recently heard something about soaring to higher vibrations or something about higher vibrations. And now this feels like you're starting to get more and more of that feedback being pushed out into your reality. So write down any of the thoughts that you would have. So what we just did there was third person perspective. We're looking at the picture, right? We're looking at it from a removed vantage point. And you can do this with any picture. I chose that one. And from that, we went through some of the senses. What did you see? What did you hear? Then was there a smell? Did it make you taste anything? Was there a sensation in your body? Did it bring up an old memory? Did it confirm something for you, right? So many things that could be happening from that third person perspective. Okay, so now I want to show you the same. We're going to look at we're going to use the same picture, but we're looking as reality. We're going to go into the first person perspective. And why this is so important is because when you're doing imaginal acts, and that's what I'm going to be bringing in at the end, how you'll use these two perspectives with imaginal acts. But we're going to go back in, we're going to see the same exact picture, but I'm going to walk you through some different prompts. All right, so the first person perspective, looking as reality. Okay, so now what's going to be different is I want you to put your pen down for a moment. And we're going to go, and what I want you to do is get a really good picture of this picture. And you can do this with your eyes closed, or you can do this with your eyes open. But what I want you to imagine is from where you're sitting watching this video, I want you to imagine that you're going to jump into the picture. That means you're actually going to the location. So however you need to do that, eyes open or eyes closed, like this is going to be your new reality now. You're jumping, you're shifting from just looking at the reality to like this is a video game, and now you're going to jump in there, because let's say the purpose would be to start down here and walk up and meet your friend at the top. So once you either close your eyes or you're there open-eyed, and you can do it either way, I want you to feel the ground underneath your feet. I want you to look down and see, are you wearing a dress? Are you wearing shorts? Are you wearing pants, yoga pants, jeans? What kind of shoes do you have on? Can you feel the sand if you move your feet? Can you feel the sand moving under your feet? Take a moment, just stand there. What's the temperature? Is it warm, or do you have a jacket on? Can you hear anything as you're just standing there? Are there birds chirping? Is there noise from the hot air balloons? Did your friend holler down to you because they see that you're down at the bottom of the reality? And now, real quick, before we start really moving around, I want you to turn around real slow, like you're doing a circle. I want you to get to 360, because when we're looking at this from the third person perspective, we can only see the picture. But what's in back of you right now? I want you to turn around and see what's in back of you. Are there any other people in back of you? Can you hear any other people talking behind you? Is there the camp where they set up the base to launch the balloons? Is that behind you? And then once you take in, because you're in observation mode now, I want you to start walking like you're at the bottom, and you're going to start walking along here. So I want you to feel yourself walking. And what we're doing here is we are noticing all of this, the first person perspective that we have now, because we're not only in a picture, but we're in the reality that picture suggested. And I want you to feel the sand moving under your feet. Do you have a backpack on? Do you have a camera? Do you have your phone? What is it that you have in your hands? And this is what Neville Goddard means when you're doing an imaginal act and you're giving it all aspects of the reality. You're no longer just imagining it from third person. So if you're doing your imaginal acts and all you're doing is seeing a version of you in front of you doing something, we want to be looking out of the eyeballs and hearing out of the ears of the character of you that's in the picture. And that's where this changes everything. So you can go back in and do this, and you can pick many different pictures. Can you bend down and touch the sand with your hands and feel the sand? What's going on in the reality? And this is where your imagination, your subconscious mind, starts to populate it for you, that everything and everyone is you pushed out. So as soon as I said, were there people behind you? If you say no, then wait a few seconds. Give your mind a few moments to populate some people behind you, and you can kind of hear them talking, but you might not be able to make out what they're doing. This is how imagination works. So I'm going to stop the share screen. and bring you back here. And I just wanted to keep this short, sweet, and simple, because what we're doing right now in the reality that you're in, if you can move around the reality, you have first person perspective if you stay out of thought and if you stay aware of what's going on. I can feel the sofa that I'm sitting on right now. I can feel the black jacket that I have on right now. So if I wanted to do an imaginal act of me being in my office later, because I can feel the ground underneath my feet, I can feel the carpet, and I have my socks on, and I can feel what this feels like, that when I go into my closed eye imaginal act, I can give it all of the aspects of reality so that my subconscious mind doesn't think I'm sitting on the couch imagining it, that I'm actually there like I am right now. So I could be sitting, let's say I'm in my bedroom and I'm imagining I'm on my couch. And this is how you can play with imaginal acts before you give them deeper meaning. Can you, where you are sitting now, feel around, feel everything, and then go into another room and go into your imagination and feel exactly what it was that you were feeling when you're sitting here, right now? After you're done this video, can you stop the video and go into your imagination and still hear me talking? Because I have a very, very distinct voice. My clients are always telling me I'm in their head. So this is really the big difference between when you're in third person, you're in thought, and it's very surface level. And there's lots of judgments and of the observations. There's lots of voices going on in your echo chamber, right? And remember, if the voices are talking, they shouldn't be in your voice. Give it a different voice. It could be anything. Ernie from Sesame Street. It could be Morgan Freeman, whoever. That way it reminds you it's not you. You haven't identified with it yet. But when you're looking at reality, you're looking at it. You're not fully five sensory engaged with it. And then when you are looking as reality, you're looking out of the eyeballs. Like right now, you're looking out of your eyeballs and you're hearing with your ears. And you're fully aware of the 3D-ness of the physical reality. And when we go into those passive imaginal acts, those eyes closed imaginal acts, when you're giving, even if your imaginal act is only 20 seconds long, you want to, I don't start the imaginal act itself until I actually feel like I'm no longer in the room that I'm in, but I'm actually in the imaginal act that I'm conjuring. Because then my subconscious mind believes everything, and it knows the difference when I'm third person perspective and first person. And the more first person perspective you are in your imaginal acts, the quicker the outcome, the faster. And again, when you're fully there in first person, you don't ask questions like, did I do it enough? Did I do it right? That's why you've been asking those questions. So once you figure this out, once you give yourself the experience, because we can sit and talk about this all day on videos, but go give yourself this full-blown experience. Bring as much of the five senses. See it, taste it, touch it, hear it, smell it, and then pay attention to intuitively. And jump into those pictures and do a 360. Turn around and see everything. Let your subconscious mind populate the rest of it. You don't need the story why you're there. You being there is the story. So if this was helpful, if you really now know the difference between the difference of third person perspective looking at reality and first person perspective looking as reality, if you liked this technique, I have a one-day event coming up on March 16th that you can sign up for. And there's going to be 5 sessions, and we're going to be going into these type of imaginal acts and really understanding the concepts that are being offered in the manifestation world. If you've ever wanted to have these type of experiences, I highly recommend, because we're going to be in a Zoom-like room together, and I'm going to be able to walk you through these techniques and answer your questions in real time. If you're interested in the March 16th, Create Your Own Reality, Embody Your Imagination, literally what we're going to be doing, check the description box below. Sign up. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me at Denise@theinvincibleceo.com. And if you haven't visited the website, www.theinvincibleceo.com, I highly recommend, because when you go to the website, you're going to be looking at reality. But when you start to come into our one-day event, you're going to be experiencing things as reality. And a lot of the questions and confusions that you have will be answered in that one-day event this Saturday, March 16th. Thank you so much for being here. Take a moment, like and subscribe if you haven't. Welcome back again if you're returning, and thank you if this is your first time. I appreciate you deeply. And if anytime you have a suggestion for a video, please feel free to comment or reach out to me and let me know. Thanks so much and enjoy.